Ready to go. March 4th, 2026, Lowell School Committee meeting come to order. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Bahu?
Here.
Mr. Conway?
Here.
Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mayor Getchia?
Here.
Mr. Lay? Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Here.
5 present, 2 absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 3 minutes. Motion to approve the special and regularly scheduled Lowell School Committee meeting minutes from February 4th, 2026, and place on file by School Committee Member Bahu, seconded by School Committee McFadden. 3.1, approve the minutes of the special meeting of the Lowell, oh, that's all said, I'm sorry. 4, permission to enter. 4.1, permission to enter March 4th, 2026. Motion to approve the permission to enter by School Committee Member Conway, seconded by School Committee Member Del Rossi. Would anyone wish to speak on 4? Seeing no one, roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi? Yes. Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay? Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
5 yeas.
Thank you. 5 motions. 5.1, motion by School Committee Member Del Rossi, request the superintendent work with the Department of Finance to create a step-by-step guide for schools receiving financial rewards, seconded by School Committee Member Conway. School Committee Member Del Rossi.
Thank you, and thank you for holding this motion, these 2 motions, until I'm here. So the first one, this first motion is in regards to when schools get grants and how they actually access them. It seems like there's some type of a disconnect between whether it's the finance or whether it's the, or whether it goes to grants, but there seems to be a disconnect where they're waiting a long amount of time to actually get the money for the grants, for the kids especially. So if there could be just a step-by-step guide for all the schools, for those who get those grants, to be able to access it.
Thank you, Mr. Rossi. I think it's quite sensible. We'll be happy to respond.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? So ordered. 5.2, motion by School Committee Member De Rossi, request the superintendent update the school committee on how the implementation of the new reading program is progressing. Seconded by School Committee Member Bahu.
Motion
Member Del
speaks
Rossi.
for itself.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 6, subcommittees. 6.1, the approval of the minutes of the Finance Subcommittee meeting of February 11th, 2026 by School Committee Member McFadden, seconded by School Committee Member Del Rossi. Mr. Bahu.
We had a finance subcommittee meeting on Wednesday, February 11th. It was attended by myself, School Committeeman Conway, School Committee Person Martin, as well as Superintendent of Finance, Dr. Derek Pinto. We spoke about 3 items. The first one was the maintenance of effort update for 25-26 school year. We did speak with Dr. Pinto shared that he originally had a meeting in October of 25 with the Chief Procurement Officer to discuss what the maintenance of effort charges were, and ongoing meetings to be made after that initial meeting. He shared that they would be meeting at the end of January to discuss the maintenance of effort updates for this upcoming year. And we spoke about it at length. And we asked if there was anything that the school committee could go ahead and offer for maintenance of effort, maintenance of effort, memorandum of understanding. So ultimately, we spoke about certain charges that were made. Some of those charges were to the added costs or higher costs towards garage parking fees towards the teachers, as well as the payment of certain people on the maintenance of effort charges at the police department. We then went ahead and spoke about the budget. And of course, we've realized that we're going into some difficult times. Dr. Pinto shared that our anticipated added costs were going to be 3.5% for teacher salaries, 8.9% by insurance costs, and 6% on transportation costs. Our overall budget that we're expecting from the state of Massachusetts is going to be increased by 4.4%. So ultimately, we are on some very stiff times, is what we shared. There's also was shared that the city may flatline the proposed contribution to us by $12 million. So we are, something that we need to go ahead and discuss as time moves forward. Lastly, we spoke about the transportation costs. And ultimately, it was just something that we have seen between added costs for bus services, for transportation of McKinney-Vento, of special needs transportation, and signing a new contract. So this is going to be a work in progress, and that is essentially what we discussed at that meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Accept as a report of progress. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? So ordered. 7, reports of the superintendent. 7.1, strategic goals update, LPS, culture, and continuous improvements. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I check with our tech? Do we have this on screen? Thank you. So we're going to go low tech. This is the report I'm referring to, school committee members, in your packet. One of the important goals in our school, in our Lowell Public Schools strategic plan, is to develop and enhance a culture of continuous improvement. I like to say that the culture is the soil, not the seeds, it's the soil. And if the soil is not healthy, whatever seeds we plant are not likely to thrive. We may have the best curriculum, we may have the best talent pipeline, best strategic plan, but we need a strong culture, and if we have a strong culture, one that's collaborative, reflective, and improvement-oriented, then what we plant is more likely to thrive. Would you please refer to this page of the report? Second page. Oh, thank you. You have it on screen. Excuse me, members, I need to let our tech know I don't have the capacity to move that presentation. If you'd move it to the second page, please. When we talked at central office initially about a culture of continuous improvement, we did some reading, we read some research, and we talked with staff. One of the things we learned is that a part of the culture that's critical to address is the certain mindsets or dispositions or attitudes that we need to take, all of us need to take, in order for our culture to be a culture of continuous improvement. And so these 3 dispositions are ones that we chose and that our staff worked on to help us choose. By responsibility. Responsibility is obvious, I think, in some regard. In our Lowell Public Schools these days, a teacher will not complain that students didn't meet them halfway to learn a lesson. They will think about how can I motivate that child to pay attention, and how can I redress the lesson so that the child will learn it the next time. Responsibility also, just recently I credited a Pawtucketville Memorial teacher who noticed that a kindergarten child was not at school several days in a row. So she went to the social worker and organized a home visit to meet the family and to get that child back in school. That's what we mean by an attitude or disposition of responsibility. We have long had collaboration in our schools. Intentional collaboration means something more. Intentional collaboration is purposeful. Our teachers work hard together to make sure that we know what it is we want students to learn, and how we're going to assess them, and how we're going to meet their needs if they don't learn what we intend them to learn. The next page, in addition to having certain attitudes or dispositions, we have to provide for structures for a continuous improvement culture. And they're listed here. I won't go through them all. One of my favorites, they're all my favorite, but one I can comment on is coaching. Every single one of us needs to be coached and needs feedback on growth. One of the interesting things, by the way, about coaching, I may have said this to the committee before, the AFT, American Federation of Teachers, which our UTL union is affiliated with, they were one of the first to champion coaching. If a teacher goes to a workshop, and this has been sort of measured in research, there's only a 5% chance that the teacher will apply what they learn in the workshop back in their classroom. It doesn't happen very often. If the teacher goes to the workshop and returns to their classroom and has a coach that helps them to implement what they've learned, 95%. So coaching in our Lowell Public Schools for teachers, for principals and leaders, that work done mostly by Ms. Crocker, is key, and is key to our growth. Safety nets, by the way, refers to the fact that no matter how good our work, we need to be cautious. We need to have systems where we find out when students are falling through the cracks. One of the first safety nets is a strong attendance team, like that teacher at the Pawtucketville school that went and did something about a kindergartner not being in school. You have to address it. That's a safety net. Well, there are also safety nets where we need to reteach students who didn't learn when you take an assessment and so on. Next page, please. And that's just putting it together. Very fancy graphic generated by AI, no less. But on the left are 3 dispositions. The idea is that we want to work with all of our staff to take them on, and we want to provide them with the structures that are also listed to get to high expertise teaching and, of course, student proficiency. The next slide indicates how is it that you influence the culture? How is it that you get Lowell Public Schools to be to have a culture that's rich in the way that we're describing? And I like to use these symbols. They are I didn't make them up. I received them from this fellow John Safier, who is the president of Research for Better Teaching. He says, to change your culture, you have to say it. You have to model it. You have to organize for it, protect it, and reward it. So I won't take you through all the 5, but say it means we leaders have to get out into schools and talk about it. And the superintendent of schools has to share messages with all the staff across Lowell about, for example, when we talk about data use, we have to explain that. We have to talk about it, and we have to recognize it. I have to model it. If I expect teachers to have a growth mindset, in other words, really believe that your students can learn, even if they're far behind, and then how do you communicate that to your students? Well, I have to model that, and I have to say, a principal who's struggling with something in their school, I believe in you, and I'm going to stand by you and help you to run your school, if need be. I I'll move forward to rewarding it. One of the ideas around rewarding it is that we have a nomination system where any staff member in the district can nominate any other staff member in the district under one of our categories. I'll share one with you in just a moment. It's, if you'd forward please through the next couple of slides. This slide that's on the screen right now is just an accounting for some of the activities that your superintendent has been involved in around this initiative. The next one is an example of rewarding it. So a staff member in Lowell Public Schools nominated Donna Conley and Lewis Cruz from the Butler School for their terrific use of data. And so we recognize them. The script that you're looking at is just the beginning of the nomination. Nominations generally also include a very specific example of the characteristic that we're talking about. We visit the school, we give them a recognition certificate and a little swag. They receive a nice culture of continuous improvement sweater, and we broadcast their work to the whole district. Last page. For all of the work in our strategic plan, we've set measures. So when we set a measure for this one, we thought it would be helpful to ask the school leaders how much this work is helping them or positively impacting their instructional leadership. And one of the, we're going to continue to monitor and survey, but in the most recent survey at the beginning of February, more than 76% of leaders indicated that we're going in the right direction on this one. You'll note our target is 85%, so we've yet got some work to do. Happy to pause, and I'll take any questions if school committee members have them.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to 7.2. Response to school committee member Martin's December 17th, 2025 regarding online safety. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. May I suggest, it appears that Ms. Martin is not here tonight. Might we bring this item back when Ms. Martin is at one of our meetings?
Motion to bring back item 7.2 by school committee member Conway, seconded by school committee member Lay. 7.3, homeschooling by grade levels upgrade. Mr. Superintendent?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The school committee members may recall that we made a report about homeschooling a little while ago. Mr. Bahu requested additional information. He'd like the numbers to be broken out by grade level, and that's what's presented here. Mr. Bahu or any other school committee members were available for questions.
Sure.
Mr. Bahu?
Thank you. I appreciate the report, Dr. Foxroy. It's very enlightening to see that we have many of our homeschool children. The highest amount would be grades 5 through 8, with a total of 73. If I recall, when you gave us the original motion response, it was a 3-year indication of how many students were homeschooled from the 23-24 year, the 24-25 year, and the previous year before that, the 22-23. And what was alarming was that how the homeschooling requests doubled from the beginning of your report to this upcoming report. So firstly, if you could kindly maybe add those 2 years, the preceding years, to the amount of students in each grade that are being homeschooled, so that we could go ahead and have that information. And then and I'll let you answer that if you'd like.
So I can go ahead and do that. However, those numbers include those students. So remember, when you asked for the report, you asked for all the students that were in Lowell Public from 2022 to 2023. So when we created the list for you, when Joyce Liani created this list for you, she gave you all of the students who continued to stay with us up until current. So this list of 200 includes the students who entered our district in 2022, but may not include the students that year that left us. Does that make sense? So
Sure.
we could certainly give you additional, so they might have been 10 in 2022 that didn't stay to 2023 or 2024. So we can add that if that's information that you
Sure,
would
so,
like.
so you're indicating the progression is here in this report. If a student was in 3 years ago, was in the second grade, and then moved on to the third grade, and then moved on to the fourth grade, all homeschooled years, then that number is indicated right here.
Correct.
Okay, that's great news. Thank you for sharing that information. Another question I have is, today, as a matter of fact, this meeting, and item number, I'm not sure when it's upcoming, but we have more students that are, looking to be homeschooled. Now, we're somewhere in the third quarter of our marking period. So is there a period of time that they can only begin to put in the request to homeschool? Because it seems like, we're halfway through the year, we've got 5 parents doing it. I'm not sure if the students are that far behind, if they don't want to go to school, if the parents actually have the ability to homeschool, can they pick up the material for homeschooling from whatever group that they use or whatever company that they use. So is there a way that we can, consider cutting off a period when a parent can begin to, can ask for homeschooling? Do we have a policy? Is there, or is it just, I hate to say it, but, use my former colleague Jackie Doherty, is it just willy-nilly? If they just decide that they want to go ahead and homeschool, then they could
I would
just go
love
ahead
to
and
quote
homeschool.
willy-nilly. However, our policy is not very robust. So we do not have any consideration for restricting when a parent can request homeschooling. We could. Other districts have a slightly more robust model of which would cut off a period of time. There's a possibility in some districts in like February, there are no more requests for homeschooling because they have a window of when a student or parent can be homeschooled. We could do that, but we would have to revisit our existing policy. Our existing policy allows it to happen from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Sure, so could we go ahead and, maybe have a policy, now, we could have a policy subcommittee meeting, or we could, refer it right to you, and you could discuss it and present to us. What do you feel would be most beneficial?
Mr. Bahu, I think we'd welcome the opportunity that this has created, this conversation, to draft a new policy or ideas for a new policy and present them to you. So if you trust it, leave it with us, we will do that, just that. We will leave the motion that called for the report in the first place, we leave it on our report of motions as being incomplete, and we will add to it that we're going to come forward with a new draft policy for the school committee to consider, if that meets your satisfaction.
That would be fine. I mean, could we develop that by essentially, May 1st or May 15th, so that, based on your recommendations, it could be implemented for the following school year?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Mr. Conway.
Yeah, thank you. Through you to the superintendent, I think it might be advantageous if you add in surrounding towns and cities and what their policies are, so that we have there could be a whole variety of different reasons why a parent, towards the end of school, decides to keep their student, their son or their daughter home and homeschool them. It could be social stuff, it could be a whole variety of things. So I'd like to have some data from other towns and cities and see what they have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. 7.4, Lowell High School construction update. Mr. Superintendent.
School committee members, that item is in your packet. It's pretty much a monthly or bi-monthly report that Mr. Bahu and I and some other members of the administration attend this school building committee meeting. These are the agendas from those meetings, and we feel it's helpful to share them with you. If you'd like further detail or comments, we're happy to take questions.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to 7.5, Food and Nutrition Program Highlights. Mr. Superintendent.
Once again, school committee members, that item is in your packet. We rather enjoyed sharing this with you. We think it's good news, and we think that there's been lots of interest from school committee members over time in our food program. So this was just an opportunity to share some really good news with you and some highlights. Again, we're happy to give you more context or to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Bahu.
I think this is a great report. I'm thankful for it. I know that we just discuss food options here at the school pretty regularly. We also discuss the option of multicultural food. I see that we tried some Mediterranean food here. There's been some Spanish food, and ultimately, what's happening is our culinary staff is being brought to a place that they didn't realize that they could sort of begin to grow and begin to go ahead and want to be a part of this overall program. By looking at some of the comments at the end of it, it says, one of the statements was, "I can't wait to do it again. This has been the best the best 3-day training ever. It was fun, educational, and a 10 out of 10. The best experience I learned, I had a lot of fun, and thank you for giving us the training." So as we incorporate our cafeteria workers, our staff, to go ahead and begin to challenge themselves with new food and realistically turn it over to our students and then have our students taste that multi-ethnic food, it's such a big benefit for our school district. So thank you for doing this. I'm grateful to have heard about it and look forward to things to come.
Thank you, Ms. Bahu.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. 7.6, Fiscal Year 2027 Budget Process Update. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. Again, school committee members, this is a brief report that's in your packet. We are available for questions if you have any.
Seeing no questions, we'll move on to 7.7, Key Performance Indicator Report. Mr. Superintendent.
The Key Performance Indicators Report is given once each quarter. So the one in your packet tonight, school committee members, is for the end of quarter 2. We think that there's a considerable amount of good news in here. We're happy to talk about it at length or take questions if you have any.
Seeing no questions, motion to accept the reports of the superintendent, 7.1, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, and 7.7, reports of progress by School Committee Member Bahu, seconded by School Committee Member Del Rossi. All in favor? Any opposed? So ordered. 7.8, Home Education. Motion to adopt the home education by School Committee Member Lay, seconded by School Committee Member McFadden. Any comments? School Committee Member Bahu.
Just one question. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Dr. Foxroy, there's a request for 5 students to begin home schooling. Could you kindly, on any next report or all the reports moving forward, list how many students that would be that are being homeschooled, so that, we can have a sort of an understanding of how we're progressing on this?
Mr. Bahu, I just want to make sure I understand. You want a total?
A running total,
A
that's
running.
correct, from one
Yes.
meeting to the other.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway? Yes. Ms. Del Rossi? Yes. Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Thank you. 8, new business. 8.1, approval to accept and expend allocated FY 2026 awards. Motion to approve and accept and expend the allocated FY 26 awards by Mr. Conway, seconded by Ms. Del Rossi. Any comments? Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Del Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. 8.2, budget modification request. Motion to approve the budget modification of $1,353,988.78 by Mr. Bahu, seconded by Mr. Lay. Any comments? Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Ms. Del Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. 8.3, contract approval for Assistant Superintendent of Schools Learning, Wendy Crocker-Roberge. Motion to approve the contract for Assistant Superintendent for School Leadership, Wendy Crocker-Roberge, by Mr. Conway. No, Ms. Del Rossi, seconded by Mr. Bahu. Any comments, concerns? Mr. Conway.
Yeah, thank you. I think that in light of the fact of running into some financial issues, I think it would be wise and prudent to hold off on these 3 contracts until we get a more solid information in regards to the budget. We can't spend money that we don't have. And I think that what I'm hearing is all over the state, there are cuts taking place. So I don't feel comfortable going into a contract at this particular time until we get more concrete information as far as the budget is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. Mr. Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I feel that I do want to support superintendent and the assistant superintendent for the work going forward. I think we had a pretty good past few years with the current assistant superintendent. By all means, I do want to support them, their work. I want to have them continue working here in the district, and having a contract for them would be wonderful. And I echo Mr. Conway's that it is a little bit premature to sign a contract as of now, just because of the uncertainty of the financial in the district, in the whole state actually. So. Though I am supporting, but I'm not in a rush to go ahead and rush to sign a contract at this time.
Thank you, Member Lay. Member Del Rossi.
I've been receiving phone calls about schools having to cut at the core, maybe an assistant principal, a social worker, security guard. I'm hearing teachers are now cut, positions are being cut. So my biggest concern is always forward-facing positions within the classrooms, because our kids need it more than anything. So I think we need to make sure that the classroom is okay and the schools are okay before we move on to doing anything or approving the contracts with the amounts that they are.
Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. School committee members, we had 2 separate executive sessions where we spoke about these contracts. I'm not going to review all of the details. I wasn't prepared to do that tonight. But among the details I want you to consider are, each of these assistant superintendents has brought to the district far more dollars than is in their contract. The assistant superintendent to my right, Dr. Fox-Roy, just to use one example, has received grant funding in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to support our implementation of new curriculum. I won't get into other examples, but each of the assistant superintendents has brought in more dollars and greater value by far than their contracts. In our discussions about these contracts, I've shared with you comparisons with other districts that prize their staff much more. As far as Ms. Del Rossi and remarks about potential cutbacks in schools, she's not inaccurate. That's a true statement. What I'd like you to consider is, and I'm happy to give you the numbers. I have them with me, and I can share them with you. Since fiscal 20, we have added dozens, I think around about 200 new staff, teachers and paraprofessionals in our schools. You recall ESSER times. I've told the committee this before in the last 2 fiscal years. We cannot sustain in our schools all of the staff that we hired back in those times. 84 mainstream paraprofessionals alone, new positions for 84 mainstream paraprofessionals. In other words, we took out the special education numbers because we've added some special education classes that deserve and need that support. But in many other cases, we simply can't sustain it, no matter what contracts we put forward. I want to make sure the committee understands, if you fail to approve the contracts, I believe you're jeopardizing very much the progress we've made in the district. I think you jeopardize our ability to keep good staff. And if we lose the staff that we've built, we will also lose the progress that we've made. Please make a sensible choice. After 2 rounds of executive session discussions, the committee agreed to these contracts in that forum. Please follow through with your wishes in that time. I believe they are sensible contracts, without which our district really would be in jeopardy.
Ms. McFadden?
We've spoken about this, as mentioned, twice in executive session, and I am a firm believer that when we're going into tough times like we're anticipating, that you need to have strong leadership at the top. And the superintendent has worked to build a strong team, and I've heard about it, on the campaign trail, talking to teachers and principals, how much this leadership team is respected among the teachers and the principals. So I am in support of this. We've discussed it multiple times, and so I will be voting to support these contracts.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden. Mr. Bahu?
Multiple years ago, I ran for school committee, and I ran for school committee based on multiple things, but one thing being graduation rate. Our graduation rate 3 years ago was 73.5. I should say a dismal 73.5. Our current graduation rate is 81.2. Our graduation rate under this superintendent and the assistant superintendents has grown by 8%. If you look at the KPI report that I failed to discuss earlier today, our chronic absenteeism on page 9 has gone down in 2 years by 9%. 9%, so something good is happening in the Lowell public school system. Our average daily attendance has gone up in 3 years by 2%. Seniors attending school this year have gone up from last year to this year by 7%. Our English language arts scores have gone up by 2%, 3% in the Hispanic Latino, which is our most challenged group, 7% on our white, and this is third grade. These are the most challenge, I'm sorry, these are the times that are most, where we put a student's ability forward. These are the times. So to have our third grade level of reading go up by 7% on one group of students, 3% on another group of students, 3% on another group of students, 2% overall. Our math numbers go up by 1%, which was on your desk as we got here. This school district is moving in the right direction. And I don't know if we're giving any extra compensation or if we're giving the security that we know that to our staff, that we know that we have the right people here at the lead within our school district. I think it would be a foolish thing to not go ahead and pass this after we did discuss it in executive session twice. Also, with the contract about to expire, it's currently March 3, their contracts end on June 30. And when I go on the MASC website, there are advertisements for superintendents, assistant superintendents, and leaders of school districts. There is no need to lose anybody that is in our front office based on the direction that our school district is going in. I plan on supporting this, and I hope that my fellow school committee members will support this as well.
Thank you, Mr. Bahu. Mr. Lay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, we have discussed this several times in the executive session, and I do believe that we have a good staff here, but we at the same time we have fiscal responsibility. In the future, we know that we're not going to be having the luxury of having so much money like we have in the past with ESSER money and everything. So therefore, the contract is not yet expired. And if we have a staff threaten to leave our school district just because then they don't get this raise, I think that is not the way that we agree on the contract. I think we work well together, and I hope that we continue working together moving forward and not using this money as a reason to leave the school district. So I hope that we think about this, and for me, I will continue to wait until we know what our budget is going to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lay. Ms. Del Rossi.
I'm not interested in losing any of you. I like working with all of you, and I think you've all done a great job. I'm just saying proceed with caution right now. We're going to have huge cuts. They're going to cut at the core of the classroom, and just wait. Proceed with caution, because if we take those huge chunks right now from the budget, then I just think we need to think about the classroom. And I appreciate all the hard work that you've all done. And it's not in any attempt to be petty or anything like that. It's because I care about the front lines of the classroom and how schools are functioning. And some schools are doing great and some schools aren't. And we really need to look at that and where the funding needs to go appropriately. The school site council notes in the budgets, there's only been 3 posted that I could find, the Wang, the Stockloser, and the Robinson, and they're all losing funding. They're all losing positions. I'm hearing even the Butler is going to be losing positions. So I think we need to prioritize and think smartly and budget wisely when it comes to all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Del Rossi. If I may say something before the superintendent does, if no one has any objections, I would like to say it from up here unless Mr. Lay would like to come up. Okay, thank you. I think that one of the most uncomfortable things in life is sitting in an audience while someone's talking about you and, about your progress and how hard you work or how hard you don't work or what your net worth is by $1. And when you look at these positions, I would think that they come up with grants that are going to bring in more than $5,000, or they go down to somebody on their staff and say, can you help us find $5,000? That's what you're talking about in a $287 million budget. It isn't even on the planet for cost. We waste more than that on other things, and we're talking about a school system that we all want to grow. And I think the leadership numbers that are in front of you, you see there's growth. Comparing layoffs of one position to another in need and want and all those other things are something that we use to subjectively point to why we shouldn't or we should do something. When I look at our Lowell school system, I see a lot of progress because of all of you, your hard work as a school committee, but also the teamwork between the administration. And keeping these people in place and making sure that we understand value isn't based just off of the dollar, but off of what they give back to the community. Lowell has been challenged for years, and we all know that. And I think the direction that we're headed in, when you look at all these numbers that are in front of us, $5,000 each or an $18,000, less than that, each person sells a major change to our community. And it's a short contract, when you look at the time frame, and the monies can be certainly directed from these good employees down to their staff, and we can save these monies. So I'll be supporting this because we talked about it at length, like many of the members said in the subcommittee. Superintendent Skinner, I agree with Mr. Lay that I don't like hearing the threat of somebody leaving, because I think that's BS. I don't think that's real talk. I think we promote what good people do, the teamwork that we do back and forth, and the great employees that we have. And if they're productive, that's what we promote. We don't, if in government we worry about every time someone's going to leave, and I hope that these employees haven't threatened to leave, because then I'm taking the wrong stance on this vote. But I would say that when you have a valued employee, this isn't like we're going over and above. It's not like we're giving a 6%, and we were, the negotiations were much higher than what we're sitting at right now. I'll definitely be in favor. I'll turn over the floor to Superintendent Skinner.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It happens that I was going to respond to something Mr. Lay said, and the very point that you picked up on. There's no threat of people leaving. That's not an actual threat, but it's actually a reality, and I'd like to explain that. The three people whose contracts are up tonight are incredibly dedicated and have been, as Mr. Bahu pointed out, very successful in their work and are behind the progress our district is making. When we had announced in October the new set of state results, we were being contacted by Boston media because the results in Lowell bucked the trend in Massachusetts. And it's because of the work of our teachers and our staff and our schools, many of them who have been there for years. But the culture and the organization around them today is different from what's been there in the past, and we know it's making a difference. Mr. Lay made the point that their contracts are not up until the 30th of June. As a matter of practicality, any of these people whose contracts are not approved tonight would be silly not to look for positions elsewhere. Should they wait till June, when hiring season is over, to find out that they don't have a role? I'm going to tell you, each and any one of them will walk into any other district who has a position available. We're at a very tense moment. We are in a predicament where the progress that we've made in our district is in jeopardy. We cannot continue to make progress I believe that you will be, that failing to approve these contracts would be unbelievably detrimental to the district. I encourage you to, if you have doubts about it, to reconsider or ask questions if there are questions.
I'd just like to state one more thing. I am not voting on this contract based off of whether someone will stay or leave. I'm voting based off of what someone has already performed in this position and what they give to our community. I just want to be very clear of that, because if I felt as though someone was leaving based off of this contract, I would not be supporting it. I think that you recognize people for the team that they bring in front of you in the direction hopefully we're all going. Ms. McFadden.
I was going to say something similar in that, it's all good if we say, you're doing a great job, but if we're not willing to give you a contract and make you just continue to work and have that uncertainty, then that the good job doesn't mean anything. It's not going to make anybody feel valued.
Thank you, Ms. McFadden. Mr. Bahu.
We negotiated a contract with UTL a few years ago, and we essentially gave every employee in the school district, as part of the union, 3.5% increase. These contracts are about a 3% increase in the first year and a 2% increase the following 2 years. It's less than what the increase is of any of our staff, whether they are paraprofessionals, custodians, teachers, disciplinarians, deans, heads of departments. Everyone's getting a 3.5% raise. This upcoming year on our budget, we're low. This is a 3% raise with 2% raises the 2 years to follow. This is a school district that's moving in the right direction, and this contract that we discussed in executive session, that we went ahead and voted on in executive session, should go ahead and be implemented.
I wish we could rate every employee on an individual contract where we give them all the same across the board. So when you look at like unions, you give one contract to everybody and there's merit-based across the board. So with that, roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
No.
Ms. Del Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
No.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
3 yeas, 3 nays, 1 absent, fails.
Thank you. 8.4, contract approval for Assistant Superintendent of Academics Instruction, Onita Fox Roy. Motion to approve the contract for the Assistant Superintendent for Academics and Instruction, Onita Fox Roy, by School Committee Member Bahu, seconded by School Committee Member McFadden. Any conversation? Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
No.
Ms. Del Rossi? No. Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
No.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes. Yes.
3 yeas, 3 nays, motion fails, 1 absent.
Thank you. 8.5, contract approval for Assistant Superintendent of School Support Services, Alice Brown LeGrand. Motion to approve the contract for Assistant Superintendent for Student Support Services, Alice Brown LeGrand, by Member McFadden, seconded by Member Bahu. Before we do a roll call, can I say something? What is the wish of the members who are voting against that would make them pass one of these contracts? Nothing? Ms. Del Rossi?
I don't want to pass on their contracts in any way, shape, or form. I want to wait until we have as much information as possible and be provided with as much information as possible about what our schools are losing. I don't wish to lose any of you. I don't. But I want to be smart about this. Until you have a kid that goes to Lowell Public Schools and sees what it is day to day, in and out, and you realize how much support these kids truly need in the schools, I mean, it's intense. Or even work in a school and not have enough support. And I'm just looking to know how badly the classrooms are going to be cut, and then maybe we can come together with more information and decide on a contract, or maybe it stays the same, but we'll have more information instead of pushing forward without having all the data and knowing the impacts of what's going to happen in the schools, in the classrooms.
So since you pointed to me and said a kid in a school system, I don't think it's based off of anything like that. You need to give teachers resources from the top. And I think that's what you need, is people at the top who can actually give the resources down so the kids get the resources that you point to. I don't think you need a kid in the school system to understand that. I would hope that most residents who vote understand that in order to filter a system, any kind of system that's built, you need people at the top to make great decisions to get to the bottom, because the bottom it doesn't go bottom-up decision-making, and that's the hard part. As you state, there are a lot of grants, there are a lot of things that these guys do, but I understand your point, Ms. McFadden.
I was going to say then we're directly cutting the support that the schools need to offer the support and the source of the data collection that we're asking for.
Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
No.
Mr. Rossi? Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
No.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
3 yeas, 3 nays, 1 absent, fails.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. 8.6, approval of new job description and permission to post. Motion to approve and post the new job description by Member Bahu, seconded by Ms. McFadden. Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
8.7, school calendar for school year 2026-2027. Motion to approve the school calendar for school year 2026 and 2027 by Mr. Lay, seconded by Ms. Del Rossi. Any comments on the school calendar? Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. 8.8, approval for MOU, reimbursement request for foster care transportation. Motion to approve the MOU for reimbursement for foster care transportation by School Committee Member Lay, seconded by School Committee Member Conway. Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. 9, convention conference request. Motion to bundle and approve the convention conference request by Mr. Conway, seconded by Mr. Bahu. 9.1, out-of-state overnight request, Lowell High School, Cooperstown, New York. 9.2, overnight request, MSSADA Conference, Hyannis, Mass. Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Thank you. 10, professional personnel. 10.1, the members of the United Teachers of Lowell hereby donate 5 sick days to Elizabeth Baldwin Lincoln school teacher. Motion to approve the professional personnel by Member Lay, seconded by Member Conway. Roll call.
Mr. Bahu?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
Mayor Getchia?
Yes.
Mr. Lay?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Ms. McFadden?
Yes.
6 yeas, 1 absent.
Can I
Motion
take
to
a
adjourn.
moment to-
Oh, I'm sorry, before that.
I just wanted to take a moment and apologize. I
Rossi.
didn't mean that to you, Mayor.
Oh, that's okay.
I just meant it as, it's something I'm passionate about, having a child that went through the system and working in the system.
No, I understand.
And that's all I meant.
Thank you, Ms. Del Rossi. Motion to adjourn by Ms. Del Rossi, seconded by Mr. Conway. We'll take a quick recess, collect all the mics, and then start the executive